Most essential learning competency number 4, investigate properties of unsaturated or saturated solutions. What do you call to the physical combination of two or more substances in which the identities of the individual substances are retained?
Mixture, ma'am.
Very good. What are the types of mixture? Yes, Anika?
Ma'am, homogeneous mixture and heterogeneous mixture.
What is homogeneous mixture?
Ma'am, it is a mixture of two or more chemical substances where the different components cannot be visually distinguished.
Correct. Very good. What is heterogeneous mixture?
Ma'am, it is a mixture of two or more chemical substances where the different components can be visually distinguished and easily separated by physical means.
Our lesson for this week is about properties of saturated and unsaturated solutions. In this lesson, you will determine that solutions can either be saturated or unsaturated. Are you familiar with the science terms describing the properties of solutions? What are these properties that make solution saturated and unsaturated? Specifically, at the end of the lesson, you will learn to investigate properties of unsaturated and saturated solutions. There are cases where contaminants are present in some substances. The process of recrystallization can be used to remove these impurities. The crystals are dissolved in hot solvent, forming a solution. When the solvent is cooled, the compound is no longer as soluble and will precipitate out of solution, leaving other materials still dissolved. The chemical formula for salt is sodium chloride. Suppose you dissolve salt in water. The solution will be unsaturated as this can still accommodate more salt. But there will come a time that these salts are completely dissolved. When you add more salt, the additional salt remains undissolved. This is what actually happens in an unsaturated solution. A solution which cannot dissolve any more quantity of a given substance in it is said to be saturated. Let's have a simple experiment, dissolving salt in water. Maglagay ng isang kutsarang asin sa isang basong tubig. Kapag natunaw siya, ang tawag sa kanya ay unsaturated solution. Since natunaw siya, magdagdag ulit tayo ng isang kutsarang asin. Kapag natunaw siya, ang tawag sa kanya ay unsaturated solution pa rin. Since natunaw pa rin si solute, magdagdag ulit tayo ng isang kutsarang asin. Haluin para malaman kung natutunaw pa rin si solute. Kapag siya ay tunaw pa rin, ang tawag pa rin sa kanya ay unsaturated solution. Pang-5 na kutsarang idinagdag. Kapag may residue na sa ilalim at hindi na natutunaw si asin, ang tawag sa kanya ngayon ay saturated solution. Why is it that additional salt cannot be dissolved anymore? On the molecular level, we know that action of water causes the individual ions to break apart from the salt crystal and enter the solution, where they remain hydrated by water molecules. What also happens is that some of the dissolved ions collide back again with the crystals and remain there. Mapapansin mo kapag nagtimpla tayo ng ating inumin, napapasobra tayo ng lagay ng solute at yung sobrang solute ay nag-i-stay sa ilalim ng baso. At this time, hindi na kayang tunawin ni water si solute. Dahil na-reach niya na yung saturation point, hindi na niya kayang tunawin yung excess na solute. Recrystallization is the process of dissolved solute returning to the solid state. At some point, the rate at which the solid salt is dissolving becomes equal to the rate at which the dissolved solute is recrystallizing. When that point is reached, the total amount of dissolved salt remains unchanged. Equilibrium can be reached between the solid substance and its dissolved ions during saturation point. The solution is saturated. Solution equilibrium is the physical state described by the opposing processes of dissolution and recrystallization occurring at the same rate. The solution equilibrium for the dissolving of sodium chloride can be represented by one of the two equations. While this shows the change of state back and forth between solid and aqueous solution, the prepared equation also shows the dissociation that occurs as an ionic solid dissolves. Equilibrium means the state of being balanced. Sa Tagalog, pag sinabing solution equilibrium, though kahit may mga natunaw na salt, when the time na na-reach na yung saturation point, may granules ni salt na hindi na matutunaw. That makes it equal. May natunaw at may hindi natunaw. Solution equilibrium exists when the rate of dissolving equals the rate of recrystallization. Saturated solution is a solution that contains the maximum amount of solute that is capable of being dissolved. Sign na saturated solution na siya kapag may residue na sa ilalim. Unsaturated solution is a solution that contains less than the maximum amount of solute that is capable of being dissolved. As long as wala kang nakikitang residue sa ilalim, that is unsaturated dahil kaya pa siyang tunawin ni water. Which between the two samples is the saturated solution, A or B? Correct, picture B, because as you can notice, the excess solute remains undissolved. Ihahalin tulad ko ang saturated at unsaturated sa isang nakain. Kapag kaya mo pang lagyan ng pagkain ang iyong tiyan, unsaturated ka kasi kaya pa ng tiyan mo. Pero kapag busog ka na at naduduwal ka na sa sobrang kinakain mo at ramdam mo na malaki na ang tiyan mo sa kabusugan, kapag pinagpatuloy mo pa ang pagkain, hindi nakakayanin ng tiyan kaya may mga pagkakataon na tumitigil na tayo. Dahil iduduwal lang natin ang sobrang pagkain at pag nangyari yon, it means saturated ka na. For learning task number 1, prepare the following materials: sugar, 2 spoons, 2 glasses of water. Label the 2 glasses with solution A and solution B. Dissolve 1 tablespoon of sugar in a glass of water for solution A. Stir until all sugar are dissolved. Dissolve 1 tablespoon of sugar in a glass of water for solution B. Stir until all sugar are dissolved. Add another 1 tablespoon of sugar in the same glass of water for solution B. Stir until all sugar are dissolved. You may add more sugar to solution B to see the difference. Stop stirring once you notice the undissolved sugar at the bottom of the glass. Which between the two solutions is the unsaturated and the saturated? Complete the chart in your activity sheet, learning task number 1, page 29. Determine if the solutions are either saturated or unsaturated in the following sentences. If the sentence tells the solute dissolved completely, the solution is unsaturated. If the sentence tells the solute was not dissolved anymore, the solution is saturated. Again, take note of the following words: completely dissolved, unsaturated, was not dissolved or cannot be dissolved. It means saturated. Proceed to your activity sheet, learning task number 2 on page 30. You may go back to our discussion in this video. Proceed to your activity sheet and answer learning task number 3. Make a simple steps that will determine your skills in distinguishing saturated and unsaturated solutions. Sa activity na ito, maaaring gumamit ng kahit na anong juice powder or iced tea powder. Gayahin lamang ang video na pinakita sa unang parte ng discussion na ito. Tandaan na huwag gagamit ng mainit na tubig or malamig na tubig sa experiment na ito. Answer learning task number 4 on page 31. Your teacher will guide you in doing this experiment. See you next week! Thank you! Bye!